Oh, aku dah buat benda sama. Hei.
Bawa mana kerja ni?
Kau diam boleh tak? Kau tak nampak aku tengah serabut ni. Makanan aku mana makanan aku?
Tak sempat masak lah.
Kita tak nampak kau duduk rumah sehari kan? Tak sempat kau cakap. Nanti aku tunjukkan kau tempat. Kau bangun? Kau bangun. Kau bangun?
Tak nak bangun.
Aku serabut lah. Kau tahu tak? Aku balik kerja kau serabut. Kau masuk rumah kau tak ada makanannya.
Sakit lah.
Kau tak nak buat makanan sangat kan? Ha?
Apa? Apa? Janganlah macam ni.
Diam je tak? Kau dengan mak kau sama kau tahu tak? Aku pernah balik kau ni je kau faham. Pandai minta duit, minta duit je. Kau nak aku pukul kau? Ha? Aku geram lah kau ni. Kau tahu kau ni kan mak. Kau lah mak kau. Aku tak ada pada geram kau tahu tak? Kau buat.
Domestic violence is a thing. As you can see here, Liza and her wife is fighting over it is because Liza is having stress about his work. What we can learn here is not to bring your work stress over to your family. So we as a nation needs to look through domestic violence as it can get more serious over time and therefore will lead to unbalanced future to our future generation. We are from MSUKB, which is our team 3. We'll be talking about violence in our country. So let me introduce myself first. My name is Ahmad Zarif.
My name is Meryl. My name is Nisha.
And my name is Liza.
So we're supposed to have 5 people, but since Nisrin is busy, so we'll be shooting a video only with 4 of us. So let's get started.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Nisrin Maisura binti Safawi Hamdan.
Violence is more than just breaking the peace. It's breaking life, communities and futures. Around the world, it takes many forms, from wars and armed conflicts to domestic abuse, bullying and hate crimes. It crosses borders, cultures and generations, leaving scars that are not always visible. Every year, millions of people, men, women and children are affected by acts of violence that rob them of safety, dignity and hope. And while the cause may differ, poverty, inequality, discrimination, political tension, the impact is the same. Fear replaces trust, division replaces unity. Addressing violence is not just the job of government or law enforcement. It is a collective responsibility. It starts with awareness, education, and empathy. And it's grow when the communities choose dialogues over conflicts, compassion over hate. Because if violence can spread, so can peace. And it begins with each of us deciding what the safer world is worth fighting for.
Violence is a serious issue that affects thousands of people in Malaysia, especially domestic violence. Domestic violence is a serious issue, serious social problem that impacts not only victims but also families, communities and society as a whole. Now I will share the trends in domestic violence cases from 2020 to 2024. As for 2020, 5,260 cases recorded. For 2021, 7,468 cases recorded. A sharp increase compared to 2020. For 2022, 6,540 cases recorded, shows slight drop but still high. Next for 2023, 5,507 cases recorded, which showed that it continued decrease. And lastly, for 2024, 7,116 cases recorded, and it was increased again. The highest number of cases was recorded in 2021, possibly due to the COVID-19 pandemic and movement restriction that increased family stress. The lowest figure was in 2023, which 5,507 cases, but it rose again sharply in 2024. Overall, the trend shows fluctuation, where certain years saw notable spikes while others recorded a decline. Additionally, Selangor was the highest percentage of domestic violence, which is 22.9%, likely due to its large population and urban density.
Violence, be it interpersonal, communal, or national, has a lasting impact on individuals and society. Victims suffer physical injury, psychological trauma, and emotional distress in the long run, requiring vast quantities of healthcare and support. At a community level, violence erodes trust, weakens social bonds, and destabilizes communities, making cooperation and mutual support difficult. Economically, violence reduces productivity in the labor force, discourages investment, and inflates public expenditure on healthcare, law enforcement, and social services. In Malaysia, domestic violence is a stark example of such adverse consequences. Cases surged to over 7,000 in 2024, a 3-year high and nearly a 2,000 case jump from 2023. The negative effects of such violent environments extends beyond immediate harm, particularly for children who experience trauma that disables their development, education, and social participation. These conditions create intergenerational cycles of violence and poverty. Domestic violence and other violence thus not only are egregious human rights violations but also impediments to sustainable development, highlighting the necessity of comprehensive and multi-stakeholder interventions grounded in peace, justice, and strong institutions, the pillars of SDG 16.
So, I am Ahmad Zarif, and my reflection is by doing this project is the lesson that I've learned is that violence doesn't solve anything as it puts a flame to it. I understand that violence only causes this issue to keep on growing, and it won't put a stop to it. So we as a nation, we need to together put a helping hand to each other so that we can stop this and at least try to make this issue lesser in the future. So for the value that I've learned is that we need to respect each other. Also, we don't need to. Violence is not something as an easy way out. We as a human, we must think before we act. So violence is not a choice to escape your problem. That's all from me.
The lesson and value in this project is the main lesson we can learn is that violence solves nothing. It only creates more pain and problems. Understanding this can help us choose peaceful ways to solve conflicts. The value is this teach us the value of respect, empathy, and self-control. When we respect other life and feeling, we help create a safer and stronger community.
Okay, as my opinion, learning about violence as a global issue really opened my eyes. I used to think it was just about big events, wars, crime, or fights we see in the news. But now I realize it can also be the quiet, the hidden harm in someone's words, attitude, or action. It's in the bullying at school, discrimination people face, or even the moment when we stay silent instead of standing up for what's right. It made me think about my own choice. Am I someone who adds to the problem even without meaning to? Or am I someone who helps the things better? I've learned that helps make things better. I learned that peace doesn't just happen. It's something we build piece by piece through empathy, understanding, and courage. This reflection has reminded me that change can start small. It's how I treat the people around me. If I choose kindness, patience, and respect, maybe I can be the part of the ripple effect that push back against violence. And maybe together, the small action can create something even bigger. The world where people feel safe, valued, and heard. Thank you.
Violence has always been an important issue in Malaysia. Since decades, from what we know, it is unstoppable if there's no precaution taken. But before taking a step to prevent it, we must identify what is the factors that may contribute into violence. So first of all, let me start it with an early exposure to violent depictions in the media. Especially when we're talking about media, what we understand is we are talking about social media. So how can social media affect violence? First, it leads to an exposure to all sort of content and influence users, which may make them leading toward an unwanted actions. Second is, to our surprise, insane video, which also known as gore, is always a thing through internet. So some youth may take an advantage to nurture their wandering instinct. Moving on to the next point, which is about family dysfunction. Family dysfunction can also lead to violence as a kid don't earn that enough attention from their parents. So what they do, they nurture their don't enough attention from their parents to release to other person, leading to uncontrollable violence, especially in an elementary school. This could also lead to bullying, which is so known problem in Malaysia. So for the third point and for the last factor, which also contribute to violence, is verbal sexual harassment. Verbal sexual harassment here we target to a woman, especially a woman at workplace discrimination. This is because a lot of men out there aims a woman since they feel like a woman is vulnerable to own a protection. So what they do, they aim a woman, they target a woman, and they start to catcalling them, and therefore leading to verbal sexual harassment among them while walking down this road. This is so concerning, especially when it involves one's safety of a person. So to put it in a nutshell, this violence is an unstoppable issue in Malaysia since decades. As a community, we need to find a way to stop this issue from spreading and outgrowing. So let's begin to together contribute into putting an action so that we can put an end to it and therefore stop this thing from happening ever again.
Thinking about the issue of violence makes me realize how important it is to choose peace over anger. I've learned that no problem is ever truly solved through aggression. It only creates deeper wounds, both physically and emotionally. I value the ability to listen, to understand, and to respect others even when we disagree. I also believe that empathy is a powerful tool. When we try to feel what others are going through, we are less likely to hurt them. Most importantly, I've learned that it takes courage to stand up for what's right, to defend those who cannot defend themselves, and to be a voice against violence. These are values I hope to carry with me in my own life and to encourage in others as well. Thank you.
Personally, learning from the cases has broadened my understanding of the ways in which violence affects not just individual victims but society as a whole, stifling development and human rights. The cases highlight the importance of solidarity, legal reform, and compassionate social support. It also reminds me that the need for a collaborative approach bringing together legal, social, and educational interventions, the need for strong family and community-based support systems as prevention tools, and the need to ensure greater public awareness to reduce stigma and encourage victims to report. In summary, engaging domestic violence in Malaysia through the prism of SDG 16 underscores the interdependent character of peace, justice, and development. It is a universal call to consolidate laws, empower victims, and build inclusive societies where there is no space for violence. That's all from me. Thank you for listening.
In conclusion, violence doesn't just hurt people physically. It damages mind, breaks communities, and hold back progress. Every act of violence leaves a mark that can last for years. That's why we must choose respect, empathy, and understanding, so together we can build a safer and more peaceful world.